Okay, we are back here with game 4 of the second match, and the thing to do on the board is to get as many merchant guilds in play as possible. You do that via Herald. Forge is there, but I don't think Forge will be a factor because you can get your trashing done with Hermit, with Forager, with Junk Dealer even. So I think Forge just has some endgame potential, maybe to turn a province into a province to run down the pile more quickly. So there's a choice of what to open here. I do want the Hermit. Hermit can gain a couple foragers, it can gain peasants. So it is a useful card, and it can be turned in for Madman, which is always a good thing to do with the Hermit. Now the choice here is I decided between the Forager and the Peasant and came up with the Peasant. My opponent came up with the Forager. The reason for the Peasant is just I want to get through that line as quickly as possible. I won't be so far behind on trashing because I can pick up a Forager on turns 3 and 4 potentially, and still be okay with the trashing. So I exchange my Hermit here for a Madman, picking up another Hermit. So, and here on turn 4 I'm going to pick up a Forager. I do not want to fall behind in trashing and lose this game because of that. So I could go for double Peasant here, but I will just pick up a Forager and be content with that. My opponent already has 2 foragers now. I play mine here for the first time and able to get the soldier out very early, so this is going very good for me so far. The peasant hasn't missed, none of my buys have missed the shuffle. I'm able to see this soldier very quickly. 5 here could be a merchant guild, but instead I opt for 2 buys and a second forager, which is as much as I want, and another peasant. So I believe with the 2 foragers plus the hermit I can get this deck very clean very quickly. And now at this point I decide that I do not want the hermit in my deck because I've gained all the things that I want to gain off the hermit. I have 2 foragers and I've at least a couple peasants in the deck, and now this will be a third I believe of this hermit. So I'm just going to gain the hermit, gain the peasant here and trash this hermit into a madman. So there are 2 madmen in my deck. I expect to develop my deck quite quickly because of that. I fire off this madman here. Little bit of a scary hand with the madman, but it draws me into 2 foragers, which is excellent. And I opt to just hold on to this madman for the next turn. It isn't going to draw me a whole lot of cards. And I'm already exchanging 2 of my 3 travelers here, so I think that's enough for me to just stay put with that madman. Go for the herald here over the merchant guild because I know this peasant is going to turn into a soldier and I'm going to be perhaps a bit over terminaled, so I don't want to put another terminal there and not be able to support it currently. So that's why I go for the herald. It could be like a village and give me plus action, and for sure it doesn't use up an action, and I will want the herald eventually, and my opponent also wants the herald, going for a herald and another peasant here. So I think yeah, these are 2 peasants for my opponent after they fired off their madman, so able to exchange both of them for soldiers. Now here on this 5 with this peasant here, at this point I'm going to go for the merchant guild now. And the reason for that is that the deck has changed because the travelers have become different, and I believe that with the herald and with the madman in my deck I can support this, and soon I'll have teacher and then actions won't be a problem because I can solve that very easily. So I go for the merchant guild now, and I see this incredible hand here. Disciple and herald, that's beautiful. That's exactly what I wanted to find with my disciple. The perfect target. Forced to discard a forager here, doesn't draw me anything, and I may not have enough targets for the forager, is why that went down. It's also like the least valuable card of the 5 here. Disciple, herald, soldier, they're all excellent and you want to move them up the line. 7 for my opponent here. is going to go for a merchant guild at this point and yet another peasant. Uh, to me, I always want at least two peasants, one to be a disciple in your deck and one to be a teacher. Sometimes you want a soldier as well. Anyhow, I am able to disciple this herald and get two soldiers in play. So I just gained a herald, which is amazing. It's great. And what I'm gonna do here now is really try to drive home the herald split. So I could go for herald and guild here, merchant guild, but I choose just to get two heralds and overpay on the last one to stick two heralds on top of my deck, ensuring a bit of stability, some consistency. Because I didn't quite draw through there and I wanted to kick off again this turn. So now I'm out of madmen, but my deck is looking real good with all these heralds. And I'm soon up to, I think I am up to teacher. Just have to set it aside now. So I am looking in excellent shape here. The peasant opening worked out for me wonderfully well. And the next few games show quite a rapid growth in the deck here. This herald finds a fugitive, and I find my second fugitive, which is great. Playing this herald will force me to top deck a copper, but I think it's worth it anyway. Able to get rid of a couple coppers and set aside the teacher. Now here, I can go for a second merchant guild, or I can keep my coin tokens and just go for a herald. And at this point, I opted for the herald over the merchant guild. One reason for that is that I'm getting two disciples on my next turn. So if I want a second merchant guild, I can get it very easily and play it then. But for now, I just want to stabilize my draw. There's a copper at the top of my deck. I don't know what other junk could come there, but I want to have as many heralds in so that I don't stall. So this is the reason why I'm going for the herald at that point. It also prevents my opponent from getting many heralds. Now here, I didn't want the plus card on the herald because I didn't want to draw through without getting enough plus actions. And I didn't want the plus action on the herald because they're so reliable. So I go for the plus coin because I don't have that much money in my deck. Running out of things to trash with the forager as well. So with that, I get $5 or $6 extra immediately. And I almost forget here that herald gives me plus coin, but I play them and I am able to come up with a lot of money here. And this is going to be, I think, a pair of merchant guilds as well as the final herald. So that's 14, and I'm going to spend 2 coin tokens to get there. So I have 7 or 8 of the heralds, which is now like peddlers, and they do a lot more than peddlers. My opponent is just way behind here. Part of that is not opening with the peasant, I believe. So my peasant opening really worked out for me. Here I see a pair of heralds in my hand, or 3 heralds in my hand rather. That one surprisingly misses, but the rest of them kick off. And here I trash this forager to my forager because I don't want to have to trash something good to my forager after Herald forcibly revealed it. So here I gain a merchant guild with the disciple and I'm able to pick it up and play it right away. So my endgame plan here was to go for a couple provinces this turn and then use teacher to put plus buy on the merchant guild to get the remaining piles on the next turn. I'm not sure if that's the best way to end the game, but that is what I came up with in the time given to me. So a couple provinces here, maybe an odd copper for more coin tokens, but my opponent just resigns and that is game 4.